It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your host, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
All right, covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. It is now 23 minutes past the midnight hour, beginning of Sunday for this August 6th of 2023. Thank you guys so much that happened to be trickling on in while we are live. And mad shout out to you guys that's going to be checking this out on demand and on the downloads, as this is your WWE Summerslam 2023 pay-per-view or premium live event post-show. Let me know what you have thought about the event. Definitely would love to hear from you guys, be it while I'm live or you're representing and checking this out for on demand and on the downloads. I do have a poll up or two. Take your pick. Twitter at the RCWR show. Also on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/the RCWR show. Sound off. Let me know what you thought about the event. I gotta tell you, man, you know, putting the main event match to the side, because I'm literally just less than 5 minutes removed from the pay-per-view wrapping up. Minus the main event match, I would have to say that overall SummerSlam was fairly decent. But man, when you go into that tribal rules match between Jey Uso and Roman Reigns, I have been, longtime listeners know this about me, I've been a longtime Roman Reigns fan, supporter for many years now, and I have definitely been singing the praises since he's been doing this whole tribal chief reign and everything. But this has to be the first time in recent memory where I've said, man, this was just a dud by Roman Reigns and everybody involved, including those that had laid out this match, those that were in charge of booking this match. This went into some mad overkill. First off, and I know we're kind of going a little bit all over the place, but particularly we're opening up with the main event match, but I think that's really going to be when you make your rounds checking out all of your favorite wrestling podcasts or podcasts that just happen to talk about wrestling, and it comes to the talk of SummerSlam. I would not be surprised if many of the shows were to open up tackling off the break that main event match, because there was so many things that we as fans felt was gonna go down right in regards to this match. Many of us, when we first heard about this match, were going, well, what is a Tribal's combat rules match or whatever, tribal rules match, and are we going to see maybe some ancestors be involved in this somehow, potentially as judges or whatnot? Are we, from the Wild Samoans to Rikishi even, or hell, is it even possible that Jacob Fatu for just one night could maybe make some type of an appearance or whatever? And are we going to see some type of Samoan heritage be involved in this particular type of, you're thinking, okay, this is obviously going to be some type of a ritual slash fight, if you will, because somebody is being challenged for their position and everything. So there was a whole lot of things that was working in favor. And as us, the viewer, we're picturing this in our head and we're going, okay, yeah, this should definitely pop up. They should pop off on many, many good notes. Little bit of chatter was out there about, well, is it possible maybe Jimmy returns only for him to betray his brother in Jey? And we all collectively and quickly disregarded that because we just felt, no, that would be a terrible way to go, quite honestly. And man, why would we flip Jimmy so damn fast like that? That makes no sense whatsoever. I don't care how you try to spin it, that doesn't make sense. No, you just gotta somehow continue to go with the flow here with Jey, and Jey ultimately coming up short. And okay, so what's next here? But man, looking at the length of the match for starters, and I was kicking back, interacting with a bunch of people in the Discord when this came on, and I said, okay, so what's the final bids here? Are we going for maybe, 12:15 a.m. this joint is over? And I jumped out there. I said, you know what? This is probably going to be most likely a 45-minute match, minus the entrance and all that. And I mean, the entrances alone, right? Entrances alone for Jey and Roman. You know, when Roman comes out, he's milking that bad boy for what it's worth. We didn't get to the actual physical stuff between these two guys for what felt like almost 20 minutes, give or take. Let's split it a little bit. Let's say 15, almost 15 minutes to be on the safe side, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was actually 20 minutes. And then even at that, we were pretty close to seeing a 45-minute match. Now, normally everything that's been happening with the bloodline, it has been popping off on all cylinders, but this was a case right here where, of all the Roman Reigns matches I have seen throughout the years, especially since Roman has been on this tribal chief reign and everything, he's been on this 3-year run as the champion, this probably was the most slowest that I've seen Roman as far as a wrestling match goes, okay? Now, before anybody offers a rebuttal, if you're looking at this match, you play this back, you're going, okay, it's the most slowest because it's obvious they're taking the viewers here, the fans in attendance, they're taking them on a journey here. They're trying to tell a well laid out story. And you're going, okay, but sooner or later, we got to switch gears here. Sooner or later, you got to go from gear 1 to gear 2, from gear 2 to 3. You got to, and it just always seemed to stay in gear 1. They never made it past gear 1, as far as I'm concerned. To each its own, but you're coming to me, I'm giving you my honest take. They never switched gears, as far as I was concerned. The length was too much to almost go 45 minutes. No, you got to trim that bad boy. You got to trim that. There's no excuse for that whatsoever. And then the fact that, okay, we're hearing that it's tribal. We're thinking that somehow part of their heritage, their bloodline, somehow that's going to be greatly incorporated in this match. And it wasn't. For all intents and purposes, this was nothing more than a glorified no DQs match. And hey, if you wanted to use a kendo stick or a steel chair, well, by God, it was okay for you to do that. Go ahead, have at it. Why don't you? So it was very long, long-winded, very drawn out. The energy just was not there. The magic, the aura, everything that you remember from when Roman Reigns and Jey Uso had hooked up the last time, everything that went down with the previous rodeo where Jey was the one that ended up pinning Roman from the last pay-per-view and just riding off of that momentum and everything. This was probably, I would say, the first time in this bloodline saga, or as I've liked to dub it, as the bloodline turns, kind of spoofing off of a old soap opera from back in the day. I think it's actually still on TV, believe it or not. This was the first road bump that they hit in this arc in a long time. Now, for others, they may say, nah. For me, it was. But as long as I've been watching this so far, this is the one where you go, nah, this definitely did not work for me. You knew that there was going to be some type of interference from Solo Sikoa. That came right on cue. We figured that there was going to be some type of shenanigans that was going to be at play, but I didn't hear anybody jump out there and say Jimmy Uso was going to be the one. He was going to be the catalyst to deny his twin brother the opportunity in dethroning Roman Reigns. I did not, far as I could tell, and I was checking out everybody's predictions, I saw nobody going in that direction. If anything, it was just a matter of who's going to be making an appearance for this special type of match. Hell, even some people were jumping out there saying maybe The Rock, maybe he'll make some type of a cameo. Maybe somehow he'll represent and somehow, you know, he'll represent the family and try to maybe steer The Rock in the right direction, and maybe that's how ultimately we'll maybe build up to next year's WrestleMania in Philadelphia, where Rock and Roman Reigns, you know, maybe that's how we're gonna do it, right? So there's a whole lot of theories that was out there, but when it was all said and done, none of them came to fruition from what was in store for this particular match. And look, I always give credit where credit is due. I appreciate the men and women that jump out there and they do their very best to entertain us and everything, but there was nothing entertaining about this once it was just going in the same flow. You knew that this match was off. Let me tell you, you knew that this match was off the moment that these guys locked up. And how did they lock up? Shout out if you watched this premium live event. These guys locked up not in a fight, not in a first opportunity that I get, I'm gonna come slugging from out of my corner. I'm gonna be swinging the fist left and right. That's not how it went down. It went down with a goddamn headlock. That tells you all you need to know right there. If you have people that are just so, I can't wait to get my hands on you, they're that pissed off at one another, they can't stand each other's guts like that, then man, before the bell even rings, you're not gonna let that person come on out with their egotistical entrance theme and let them make their grand virtuoso entrance and showboating in the corners. And you're not gonna do all that. First opportunity you get, you're gonna throw whatever piece of ring attire you have on you at them, and you're gonna do a freaking takedown / tackle, and you're gonna be just pounding their face. And okay, I guess the match can officially begin, because yeah, we're off to a hot start here. You just knew that the moment Roman Reigns and Jey Uso went for a lockup and were engaging in a headlock on each other, you just knew, okay, it's going to be one of those type of nights. That's my, and to LMB's point in the chat right now, again, let your thoughts be heard if you watch the event, who says that ending was god awful. Don't take my word for it, people. Watch it for yourselves. That ending, WWE has been on a roll, not for nothing. WWE has been on a roll, and I've definitely been here on this show, regardless of the promotion, regardless if it's been AEW or Impact, ROH, AEW, regardless. I don't care who it is. I give praise where praise needs to be given. Hey, great. A show did really good. They brought in more viewership than they did in 18 months. Hey, I'm singing their praises. When something is done wrong, I am on top of it. I'm offering constructive feedback, criticism, whole 9 yards. This was a first major hiccup in the Bloodline story arc. It was very, very disappointing. As a fan, very, very disappointed at how this was handled. And I would hold the producers of this particular match accountable for everything that had went down here, because it had no business going off the rails that it did, especially when you had built up such great momentum from your previous pay-per-view, where Jey Uso was the first guy in like a couple of years to do something that other men could not do, which is get a pinfall victory on Roman Reigns. Of course, I'm talking about from the Money in the Bank pay-per-view when it was the Civil War. Remember that? The Civil War. You were riding on a lot here. And Jey was definitely riding the momentum of the fans here in Detroit. But once that bell rung, and after about 5 to 10 minutes, you're going, okay, so it's going to be this kind of match. Okay, buckle up, because this is going to be a while. So much so, crowd was dead. They were dead. This was one of those, are you not entertained? Yeah. Tired. I mean, seriously, this was just on so many levels. It made me feel really, really bad as not just a WWE fan, not just as a Roman Reigns / Bloodline fan, but it just also made me feel bad from the standpoint of, I know, just like you all know that have been invested in this arc, damn, this was capable of so much more than ultimately what we were given, right down to the point. I wouldn't blame it if some of you guys that are Becky Lynch fans, Trish Stratus fans, you're going, wait a minute, so we did almost a 45-minute match for this bullshit, and when it was all said and done, this is it? This is what we're doing here? Shit, we could have put in Trish and Becky instead of letting them do their thing 2 or 3 weeks on an episode of Monday Night Raw. What the hell? Final moments of this matchup, we saw Roman Reigns stopping to yell at Sikoa, trying to call some type of audible or whatever. This had pretty much allowed Jey Uso to take advantage and spear the hell out of Roman Reigns through a barricade. Sikoa is put through the announcer's table, and Jey hits another spear back on the inside. Jey connects with the Superfly Splash, and then all of a sudden, as Jey goes for the cover, we get the 1, we get the 2. We're thinking, oh wow, this is it. Jey's like, and I'll give them credit for this. The few spots where they had Jey, okay, he's got the 1 up here. This looks like this is it. He's gonna do it. I mean, you were definitely invested in it right here, because you're kind of feeling, especially with the way the night had played itself out, you're going, you know what? Anything can and will happen right here. Hell, potentially maybe even a Damian Priest cameo. We'll wait and see. More about Damian in just a little bit. But once he went for that Superfly Splash, went for the cover, the 1, the 2. Next thing you know, you see this all black person dressed in all black figure with a hoodie on just drag Jey by his ankles out of the ring. When Jey comes to try to see what the hell's going on there, the hoodie comes off. Turns out it's Jimmy Uso who did it. And Jimmy is just staring at Jey for what feels like a goddamn eternity. And I get it. You're trying to sell the act of betrayal, the shock value and all that. I get that. Next thing you know, boom, Jey Uso gets super kicked by his own brother. This pretty much had allowed Roman Reigns to connect with the spear through a table in the corner to retain. This went about 36 minutes and change. I predicted that this was going to be a 45-minute match. And the official clock, it came in a little bit over 36 minutes. Way too long. Some of you may say that haven't seen the match yet. Well, what about the level of violence? Was the level of violence on point? What would you like me to compare it to? to what you typically see in WWE, to Impact, to AEW, you know, that's where the answer kind of varies. If I'm going to compare it to just within the WWE realm of what you may be accustomed to and all that, I would say the violence level was weak sauce, all things considered. All things considered. Yeah. This really should have been trimmed by about, I see some people saying 5 minutes. No. 10 minutes. No. This should have been trimmed by, honestly, for what went down, this should have been a 20-minute match at most. 20-minute match at most. 25 is being way too goddamn generous as far as I'm concerned. You've got this Jimmy twist. You know, this annoying little Jimmy twist now where it's a situation now where you want to know how the writers are going to spin this. Because collectively, we all can agree, okay, that's stupid as fuck. But now we're going, okay, WWE, let's see how you try to, because you put yourselves in a difficult spot here. Let's see how you spin this because, yeah, man, don't really think you were supposed to be going in this direction here, but you know, let's see what happens. I don't see brother versus brother lasting that long. That's the only saving grace of this. So what is this, August right now? I don't see December coming around and the brothers are still going at it. I don't see anything like that happening. On the contrary, I feel in my heart of hearts that in regards to Jimmy and Jey, this should be resolved way before, no later than Survivor Series, which should be coming up in November. But yeah, kind of interesting what's going on here. One other note I want to point out to you guys, when all was said and done, Jimmy did not leave with Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. So take that for what it's worth. Maybe this is a situation here where Jimmy just had his own respected agenda and he wanted to execute it, right? So he still don't want to have anything to do with Paul Heyman, Solo, and Roman and all that. So you can look at that for what it's worth. Again, they've set up some interesting things as a viewer for you to go, okay, I got to see how this panned out. But other than that, yeah, I would say scale of 1 to 10, grade letter for that match. D plus. D plus. I can't go higher. I'm not going to go any lower. D plus. I am looking at that probably as a... I'll do a 1 to 10 point scale. 1 being crap, 10 being awesome sauce. I would give that a modest 4, 4.25, maybe 4.5 out of 10. Like I said, D plus. D plus. So that ain't no passing grade. Some of you may hear that. Oh, a passing grade. Nah, you want a passing grade, you need to have a C in my book, as far as I'm concerned. Let's talk about some of the other action that went down. Feel free to continue to sound off. Let your voices be heard. Detroit, Michigan. Detroit. Rock City. Detroit, known for quite a few things. You know, it's not just all about the rock music either, man. It's not just, you know, a little thing called Motown. And I'm really surprised that WWE did not try to embrace everything in regards to Detroit. You know, they wanted to just kind of let it be this old rock and roll kind of. It's like, no, they're also known for Motown. Like, I don't know who the people were as far as the marketing team and all that, but they missed the boat here as far as, you know. But then again, you could easily counter right back and say, come on, Lee, let's be honest, man, Vince McMahon and crew, they ain't trying to cough up all them damn royalties for those great freaking sounds of Motown and all that. We had Kid Rock doing the opener. We know he had got mad freaking media blitz time last year because he was sucking face with Jabba the Hutt, as you guys recall. So that was pretty hilarious. Commentators, Corey Graves, Michael Cole. As far as pre-show action goes, there was none. There was no pre-show action. I was actually pretty happy to hear about that because I actually was running some errands and I actually got home a little bit late. But I was expecting for there to be a pre-show matchup. Luckily, there was not. First match on the actual card to kick things off, Logan Paul taking on Ricochet. Logan Paul picking up the victory, 18 minutes. Great energy. Great chemistry by both of these two guys, and the fact that they were the ones to go out and open up the pay-per-view, that's a big responsibility. That is something very huge to put on the shoulders there. Hey, you're gonna set the tone of all the great action that's gonna be coming up, and go out there. And I remember when I was offering predictions, shout out to you guys that had checked that out. I made it a standalone piece on the YouTube channel. So FYI, I'm now getting back into the groove of things, uploading clips, little show excerpts onto the YouTube channel with help from my good buddy in DJ. So shout out to DJ helping me out with that. Good stuff. I wasn't a fan, if I could offer any type of criticism in regards to the match, I wasn't a fan of how it ended. And basically, Logan Paul's stooges was near the ring while the referee was distracted, happened to hand Logan Paul a pair of brass knuckles. Logan had used that, big right hand finish to Ricochet. Boom, goes for the pinfall that way. I thought that was pretty lazy as fuck. I actually would have appreciated it and respected it a lot more, and I thought we were actually going to be going in that direction. I thought for sure Logan Paul was essentially going to be pulling a ravishing Rick Rude there with Samantha, Ricochet's fiance and everything. I was under the impression he was maybe going to try couple of moves with her, try something that's going to get her all wound up and everything. And essentially that distraction for Ricochet, hey, nah, man, yeah, you don't cross that line, you don't mess with my woman. I thought that definitely was going to come into play, and thus Logan Paul winning that way. It was never a question in my mind about Logan Paul winning. I felt that, well, Logan Paul, it seems like he's lost the last 2 times, if I'm not mistaken. I know definitely before this he did lose before. I felt he needed to rebound right here, and rebound he did do and everything. But yeah, he did have to get the win here because he hadn't won anything since SummerSlam of last year and everything. So this was a fun, high-paced, great energy type of match. Went down exactly as I expected that it would. Now, I got to follow up. I had said that from the match predictions, I said that in regards to this match, I put an asterisk by it saying this could be a sleeper hit match of the night. So some of you that had heard that and you're curious, did it deliver? Did it meet that? All things considered, yeah, I would definitely. I don't know about you guys. You all may feel different, but I would say it was a shaducky quack, right? Like Booker T likes to say. I would give this match the dark horse of the night. Sure, I would definitely go there and give it that. But it was good. And for those of you that's just tuning in and you're like, who won between Jey and Roman? And you happen to be watching via YouTube, here's the best part. You can rewind. I'm live right now as it's 12:51 a.m. on August 6, 2023. You can literally hit your bar, rewind it back. I opened up the show, dedicated almost a half hour talking about that main event match. So we're now going through the rest of the card now. So some of you guys may not like what I had to say about Roman versus Jey, but I think many of you guys would definitely agree when you listen to it. It's definitely very valid, definitely on point and everything. But yeah, Logan Paul, he definitely needed this win as far as I was concerned. So good. And not to mention, if I'm not mistaken, somebody had mentioned that his brother Jake Paul had a fight or something. I don't know if it was tonight or if it's going down Sunday or whatever, or this weekend for that matter. But I remember hearing somebody say Logan Paul's brother had a fight. So, you know, honestly, all things considered, this worked out perfectly. So, and you even heard the rumblings that going into this matchup that Logan was trying to have this match be as early as possible because he wanted to go get on top of his travel itinerary and go to his brother's fight, support him, and all that good stuff. So, you know, hopefully we'll see a lot more of Logan Paul. I eventually would love to see Logan Paul mix it up with Cody. I'm not saying in the immediate future. I'm just saying months down the road. I would love to see Logan and Cody. I mean, because the rivalry right there, it writes itself so perfectly and everything. So let me know who you'd like to see Logan Paul go up against next. But for me, Cody Rhodes is definitely, you know, that's further down the line. As far as in the immediate future, well, I mean, damn, with the way things ended right here between he and Ricochet, I can easily see them running this back again. I can easily see them doing this. I could also see Logan Paul maybe trying to rub elbows with Shinsuke Nakamura. I think that would be a really cool kick-ass program between those two guys. Sign me up for that. Shinsuke and Logan Paul. Sign me up for that. Definitely would love to see that. Let's go to the next match. We were just alluding to Cody earlier. Second match on the card. Cody Rhodes taking on Brock Lesnar. Cody redeeming himself big time, picking up the victory over the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. That came in at the 17-minute 35-second mark. Yeah, we had Cody and Brock kicking things off for your second match. What do I say about this one? First of all, I was quite taken back by the physical status. Thanks, Diddy. With the Logan Paul reference there. Yeah, his brother is boxing Diaz tonight. So if it hasn't happened yet, it should be coming up on that moment right now. Thank you for that, Diddy. I appreciate that. I'm trying to respond as best as I can in real time where it's warranted and I can jump in and everything. I asked somebody in the chat, I said, how old is Brock Lesnar? Because goddamn, this dude looks pretty fucking good. I know he's in his 40s. I know he's slightly older than me because I'm 43. And somebody had hit me back and they were like, oh, Brock, he's 46. I'm like, really? Like, yeah, he's 46. Dude, he amazes me. He amazes me with just how much bulk, you know, and where and how he's shredded and everything. This guy, every time we see him, it just seems like he keeps getting in the best shape humanly possible. He seems to be, as he gets older, he seems to be like, you would think, nah, man, you should be having this in your 20s and 30s. But when you look at how his shape was in his 20s and 30s, even at his pinnacle, you know, it's nothing compared to what you've seen of him physically within recent years. I just couldn't help but be amazed at that and saying, man, you know, shout out to you. That's what's up, you know. Even if it's a case where, well, you know, he should be able to show up looking like that because they're paying him all this money. He doesn't really wrestle. You'd be surprised. Some people just take the money and run, and you know, they ain't really gonna work out worth a damn and all that other stuff. I love how this match was laid out. The blueprint for this one was pretty simple. You had Cody try to jump on Brock Lesnar before the bell, which was smart, which was freaking smart, because this has been a heated rivalry between these two men that's gone on for many months now. So I love that this third encounter had saw them, okay, no, we're not waiting for no bell. We're not going to be doing any showboat, and we're going to go, right forward and everything. I like that. This was actually pretty good. Cody getting in some offense early on, a disaster kick, quick suplex, but then eventually Brock getting back on the rebound, and then from there, what surprised me the most, notice I had talked about the length of this match. I hope you guys didn't glance over that. I said that this match went 17 minutes and some change. Okay, it's funny because we were all in the Discord and we were predicting how long this match was going to last and everything. I'm going, well, I hope this one lasts 15. And some people thought that was a crazy ass number to put out there, but my mentality was no. You can get up to 15 if Cody is able to get in some early offense. But then ultimately, Brock Lesnar, he finds the opening that he needs. And like a freaking rabid Wolverine or, a grizzly bear, he is just manhandling the hell out of Cody. Yeah, you can stretch it out for about 15 minutes. And that's exactly what we saw going on here. We saw Cody bumping like a for Brock Lesnar. You like that? Now we have a censor button. Now we have a censor button. I'm trying to do a better job when I do use the profanity. I'm trying to do a better job of just making sure that, because I don't know who would be watching and everything, so I want to make sure that it all falls on pleasant ears, so everybody can enjoy and everything. But if you do hear a slip that makes it past the, let me know the timestamp, and you'll just get a shout out. That's all. You'll get a shout out. That's it. A shout out. Maybe if you're extra nice, I'll give you a t-shirt as well. How about that? Maybe if you're extra nice. But no, this went down exactly how I thought that it was going to go down, with Brock Lesnar just continuing. This reminded me of Rocky 3 with Clubber Lang. Way he was just destroying Balboa. And then, of course, I was also thinking about freaking, what was it, Rocky 4? If he dies, he dies. Because I'm just looking at this and I'm going, man, Brock is just destroying the hell out of... I remember at one point during this match, I said, where is Brandy when you need her so that maybe she could throw in a towel for her man? And shout out to Joe Numbers. He said, yeah, she's literally at a con. I wish I was being facetious. Wish I was telling a bad joke. No, she's literally doing an autograph signing at a con event. That's C-O-N, by the way, not K-H-A-N. I don't want you guys thinking, Brandy Rhodes, ... AEW bound. I don't want you guys thinking that. But no, this went down exactly how I thought it was going to go down. From Brock Lesnar particularly, Cody bumping like a mofo. Final moments of this one, Cody cutter drops Lesnar on his back as the action goes inside the ring, gets set up for a double springboard. Cody cutter, I got him a near fall. Lesnar tried getting Cody into the Kimura lock. Cody manages to hit the ropes for the break. Back up, Lesnar sent into a exposed turnbuckle that pretty much set up Cody doing a Kimura lock on his own. That gets broken up as Cody finally went in, not one, not two, but three crossroads on Brock Lesnar for the pinfall victory. Post-match, Brock Lesnar looking pretty pissed off. By the way, I like how his trunks had exploded there. I don't know what was going on there, but I don't know if his it was trying to get out of there, or what, or to quote a Prince song, I've got a lion in my pocket, and baby, he's ready to roar. I don't know what was going on there, but his trunks had exploded. But regardless, Brock Lesnar doing the next best thing and standing there in the ring, embracing Cody, giving him a reluctant, handshake and a dab, and throwing his arm up in victory a couple of times to each section of and you're waiting for Brock to just go on ahead and clothesline the hell out of Cody, but he didn't do that. He graciously, in defeat, took it like a man, gave Cody his props, and made his exit there. So interesting, very interesting what had went down there with Brock Lesnar. Great epic match for third encounter. I would definitely say it was a epic encounter here. I wish it could have gone just a little bit further, especially when we had brought in Cody's family into it. I really wish the envelope would have been pushed even more in regards to that. I wish we could have seen Brock Lesnar egging on Mama Rhodes. What do you think of your baby boy now, huh? What do you think of your baby boy now? He does that female scream of his that we know so well. I would have even loved to see Mama Rhodes just cold slap the hell out of Brock Lesnar. I would have loved it, but we didn't get that. We didn't get any of that. This had the capabilities of going to that next level, but it didn't go there, unfortunately. But this was still pretty good. I love that added touch of, I'm going to take you out with not just one, not just two, but 3 crossroads, because you're the beast incarnate. I'm going to make sure that you stay down. I like that little touch as well, because we already know one crossroads, that's not going to do it. That's just not going to do it. So I like that Cody threw everything into this bad boy. And this is definitely a huge win for Cody. Definitely a huge win. So I'm curious, where do we go from here? As I alluded to when offering match predictions, I said, look, if maybe we could somehow incorporate Omos. Not really sure what's going on with Bray Wyatt, but if maybe something could happen from that standpoint, or maybe you do something with Dexter Lumis. There was quite a few names I had put out there as far as what that next program could be for Cody. Definitely, you need to go back and check it out when you guys get a chance. But I made an argument for some pretty good names as far as who Cody should be feuding with next and everything. I don't see him, for those of you that's going, well, maybe him and Gunther. I'm not seeing that. For the title, the IC title, I'm not seeing that. Cody, maybe you should go for the tag. I'm not seeing Cody going for the tag titles. I think I even mentioned Edge. I'm pretty sure I did. I mentioned Edge as maybe a next opponent as well. But there's definitely some interesting names that's all floating around in there. By the way, let's make sure we're keeping track at home of how I'm scoring these matches. So remember the score I gave for Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. Logan Paul versus Ricochet. Went as I expected. It went as I expected. I would give that match I'd give that match a B-. B-. So scale of 1 to 10, 1 being crap, 10 being awesome sauce. That's like a 7.25, maybe 7.50. Cody versus Brock. I'm same grade letter, same number as well. Next up, the 25-man Slim Jim SummerSlam Battle Royale. I mentioned Omos earlier. We hadn't seen Omos in a good minute. He made his return in this Battle Royale match. And he didn't last that long, though. He didn't get the most number of eliminations as far as I am aware. They ganged up on him pretty quick, sent his ass up. That's well, that's not really. Is ass a curse word? Can I get away with ass? I think I can get away with ass, right? You guys let me know. If I can't get away with saying ass, then I need to just say, right? You know, I love playing with that button, by the way. But, you know, the right person won this one. A lot of us were going surely LA Knight would get this one. You know, let us, the fans, have a really awesome, cool moment right here. Let's see LA Knight be the one to get it. It writes itself anyway, because, I mean, just imagine the commercial. You freaking see LA Knight. Hey, dummy, yeah. Need a little excitement? Yeah. Snap it to a Slim Jim, right? I mean, just that annoying little, funny little yeah that he does and everything. It writes itself. So WWE, I looked at this officially as them essentially saying to the fans, yo, we're listening to you. We hear you. We know you like the LA Knight. And look, we're going to toss you a nice good feel moment right here. We're going to toss you a little bone just to let you know that we do hear you. Your participants in this one, by the way, besides LA Knight, Eric, Ivar, JD McDonough, Rick Boogs, Otis, Chad Gable, Ludwig Kaiser, Giovanni Vinci, Ridge Holland, Butch, Sheamus, Grayson Waller, Bronson Reed, Shinsuke Nakamura, Tommaso Ciampa, Apollo Crews, Santos Escobar, AJ Styles, Miz, Karrion Kross, Theory, Cameron Grimes, and of course, as I mentioned, Omos. I gotta say, I was quite taken back by the fact that my boys, Karrion Kross and AJ Styles, were involved in this. I'm looking at this, and because remember, I don't watch SmackDown on a permanent weekly basis. Normally what will happen with me, I typically will come in on the last 30 minutes of SmackDown as I'm trying to get myself ready to go to cover live Rampage coverage for the 401 Mania site and everything. So usually if I'm not watching the last 30 minutes of SmackDown, my TV is on. I'm just, like I said, I'm getting ready for Rampage coverage. So it's where I poke my head in to watch a whole episode of SmackDown, see what's going on. But to see that Karrion Kross and AJ Styles were involved in this type of a match, I couldn't help but go, what's going on with my boys? Why are they even, seriously, why are they involved in this? This makes no sense. And it started to once I see how Karrion Kross got eliminated, but apparently I'm assuming he's had this infatuation with AJ because he made sure that, well, if he wasn't going to be involved in this Slim Jim Battle Royale, neither was AJ Styles. So obviously they've got some type of a deep and heated rivalry that's going on there and everything. But, you know, the match itself, not really that great. This was really all about that nice, cool, big feel moment. Knight being the one to go over, nice big win, right? Good stuff, especially after this match was over and we immediately go into a Slim Jim commercial that has LA Knight and Bianca Belair. I thought it was one of the coolest commercials, honestly, and I like the nice little touch that they had of Macho Man. They made sure to incorporate Macho Man in there as well. It was all a nice touch, and if you are a old school wrestling fan, you know how when Macho Man had rolled out from WWF/E back in the day, he essentially took Slim Jim with him, and that had pissed off Vince McMahon and crew for so many years. So for everything to essentially come back full circle, and WWE is now able to, you know, with the Slim Jims and everything, it's a really nice touch. It's a really nice touch. Yeah, so I would give that match. I appreciate the effort and everything, but you longtime listeners, you all know how I feel about battle royales. I feel that essentially it's a waste of time unless there's some really, really cool spots that go down in it, which, you know, it's kind of rare these days. We have a battle royal that'll that'll do that. This one, nothing really stands out in my mind where I go, oh yeah, what about that? So keeping all of that in mind, I'll be gracious, especially because the right person won this one and everything, because it came down to Sheamus and LA Knight at the very end. So, and I like the way that had played out. But right person went over. Match itself, I'll stay firm at a C. So you're looking at about 6.25, maybe 6.50, almost a 7 right there. From there, Shayna Baszler taking on Ronda Rousey. Remember, this was supposed to be the MMA rules match. Shayna Baszler going over 7 minutes and change. Yeah, dog. Besides Roman versus Jey, this was another match that I was not feeling on many, many levels. And you know what's really sad about this one? This was built up really good with the B-roll footage that they used to create this really cool little mini documentary of these girls. I think they had debuted it sometime late last week, and they just, from SmackDown, and they made sure they re-aired it again on Monday Night Raw. And I guess mainly because it was so well received and everything, that piece alone sold you big time. I know some people are hearing this and maybe they haven't even seen that little doc that I'm talking about, but it was really, really on point. You're like, wow, I actually am excited. I want to see these girls beat the crap out of each other. I want to see this reach its proper resolution and everything. But yeah, this one, I had high hopes, especially since Shayna, Ronda Rousey, real friends in real life, and it just did not work. It was flat from the moment go. Big time didn't help that the fans were not invested in this one. I'm talking about those in attendance. I mean, you could hear a pin drop. This is a perfect example of a situation where WWE respectfully just stay in your lane. Do what you do best. If you maybe want to make this match be, hey, look, the only way you're going to be able to win this one is a I quit match. You got to say I quit, or you do a submission match. If you want to do one of those two, hey, that's fine. Or if you want to do a stipulation where loser leaves WWE type of match, yeah, you can go in that direction as well. That's fine. They had the right mindset by trying to put some type of a gimmick to it, but doing the whole MMA, no, they messed up right here, as far as I was concerned. A lot of stalling, a lot of filling out process that was going on here. And this one, they got it right by having Baszler pick up the win here, but the execution in doing it, terrible. Appreciate the effort, D+. I'm probably giving this one, I'm going to give this one the same rating that I gave Roman and Jey from earlier. We heard about the attendance, which is 59,194 for that arena. So that's pretty damn good. By the way, that arena, for those of you curious, that was at the Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan. So pretty good numbers right there. Continuing on with the action. By the way, if you guys been enjoying yourselves so far, you appreciate the post show, you haven't done so already, represent, make sure you smash that like button, help others be able to access the content with greater ease. Click on the bell notification so you don't miss out on future content that comes your way on a weekly basis. Intercontinental Championship, Gunther versus Drew McIntyre. Gunther retaining the IC title, 13 minutes, 44 seconds. Some actually thought Drew was going to get this. I'm going, nah, man, he is so close to cracking that honky tonk man record. Yeah, nah, he gonna keep that. He's gonna probably drop it. I think I said Fast Lane is probably where he's gonna drop it, because definitely by then he will have surpassed the Honky Tonk Man's record. And now some of you may say, well, what about Survivor Series, Lee? What about Survivor Series? Is it possible it could actually go down there? And when I had looked a couple of nights ago when I was offering match predictions, because I think at this point he's got like about 50 something days to go, 50 plus days. So he's looking at about a month and a half. So the next WWE Premium Live event is going to be Payback, which is on September 2nd. And then from there, you've got NXT, NXT No Mercy. So go past that. Next one is going to be Fastlane, and that's going to be October 7th. It's possible it could go down at Fastlane. That's possible. Or and I'm going with the safer bet. I think the safer bet, where you get a huge pop and all of that good stuff, I have a feeling they're going to do it in front of a Chicago crowd when WWE brings Survivor Series to the Allstate Arena in Illinois. I think they're going to do it there as far as a title change in hands. So remember, you ain't heard nobody else bring that up. You heard it here first. Mark me down for that. And if I'm wrong, remind me. I got no problem admitting when I'm wrong, unlike some folks. And that's no personal dig at anybody. And, I just keep it real with you guys. That's all. But yeah, this match, what do I say about this one? I thought this one was pretty solid. Seemed as though if this match would have continued for a few more minutes, we were going to reach that, sleeper hit match of the night, right? You got your dark horse match, like an underrated, like people are really going to be showing this one some love, right? Because it was such an underrated match that it really needs its respected flowers. And then, whoa, sleeper hit match of the night. I didn't really think that this one, I knew this one was going to be physical. Right down to the point, even when I was previewing it, offering predictions, I said, look, remember how it was with Drew and Sheamus? We should be on that relatively same level here with Drew and Gunther and everything. Both of these men, they did very well for what they did in here. They brought out the very best in one another. I'm not surprised that Drew McIntyre came up short in this one, because I look at this one as the chase is better than the catch. This is only the beginning. Drew is going to continue to chase after Gunther as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, Gunther, he's like a month plus away from cracking that Honky Tonk Man record. So they're definitely going to give that up to him as far as I'm concerned. But make no mistake about it, Drew, Gunther, they're not done. They're just getting started. They're going to lock up again. And, if I were to make a bold prediction, new IC champ crowned at Survivor Series. Bank on that. All right, next up. Oh, by the way, I really like this one. I really did like this one. I like this one a lot. I would give this one a respected B. B as in boy. So I'm looking at about an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed that one. Raw World Title. World Heavyweight Title. Seth Rollins taking on Finn Balor. Now, you checked out my predictions and preview. I had a lot going on in this one. I needed a lot of help in this one. You know how you're watching the NFL and it's playoff time and you're going, okay, in order for this team to get into the playoffs, they need for this team to lose, and they need this other team over here to help them out by getting them a win. And if this game over here ends in a tie, right? There was a lot I needed going on here, because the first phase was for Finn Balor to pick up the win, only for Damian Priest to come out, cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase, and essentially screw Finn Balor out of that moment. So I was relying on two things at play here. But the one common denominator, Rollins no longer the champ. Well, that did not play out so well, as Rollins somehow still managed to retain the championship. And that's despite the fact that Dirty Dominic Mysterio, Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest, all of them came out. I remember at one point we had Damian Priest with the Money in the Bank briefcase, because he was the first one to come out, and he kind of acted as if maybe he was going to go on ahead and cash it in. And Finn Balor jumps up and he's stopping Damian, going, "What are you doing, dude? What are you doing? No, we can't. No. No. I got this. He's mine. He is mine." Right down to the point he had painted the words 7 over his shoulder. Did Finn Balor, basically 7 years, this whole animosity, the hatred for Seth Rollins, it's been brewing for 7 years. For whatever respected reason, he just hasn't been able to have Seth Rollins' number, right? Because Rollins has had him every single time. He's the one guy he just can't beat and everything. So I like that. I like, kind of almost reminds me, and I am dare not saying they're at that level. You just reminded how The Rock and Stone Cold, eventually, Rock was like, one thing that The Rock never did to you, Stone Cold, I never whooped that ass at a WrestleMania, right? So The Rock finally got his moment and everything. But final moments of this one, I remember Damian Priest tried to do something with the briefcase. Finn Balor, no. And I think Rollins had took advantage there, if I'm not mistaken. Let me, because I wrote down a little something in my notes here. Looks like they had traded up roll-ups, getting a 2, so a near fall on one another. Balor kicking out, that has sent Rollins going into a closed right hand by Damian Priest. Balor hits a pedigree for 2. You heard me right. Balor hits a pedigree for 2. Judgment Day, rest of them come out. Priest offers to the briefcase. He offers it to Balor. And Balor's like, nah. That's what it was. Balor's like, nah, I don't want to do it that way. No. So this had allowed Rollins to connect real quick with a stomp that got him a near fall. Rollins dives onto Priest, takes out Dominic Mysterio. Balor hits the sling blade and goes to the corner, connects with a corner drop kick, follows that up with the coup de grace. That gets him so very close to a 3. Balor extremely stunned. Balor then tells Priest to do something, I guess do something with that Money in the Bank briefcase or whatever, as the referee is checking on Rollins. Priest throws in the briefcase and manages to distract the referee, but this pretty much backfired on them, or maybe it mainly backfired on Finn Balor, you could say, because this allowed Rollins to hit the stomp on Finn Balor, smash that face of his right into the briefcase. Great choreography right there, too. I mean, that synced up so damn perfectly. Rollins able to retain that way, and just the look of frustration that Balor has as he was mean mugging Damian, and Damian's just looking back at him like, and what? I did what you told me to do, and what? What have you got to say now? Seriously, don't even, right? I love that whole facial expression exchange between those two. Really great stuff right here. The near falls is what really pulls you in here on this one. A lot of drama going in here, back and forth. Probably most entertaining match Nice solid job with the ending. You would like to believe that in regards to this arc, you would like to believe that as far as Balor and Rollins goes, this should be it. That this should be it. But I just kind of feel as though maybe Balor, look, one more time, win, lose, or draw, I want one more shot. And if I can't get it done, I'll never challenge for the title. So as long as you're champion, you kind of feel as though maybe it could go in that direction. Because the only thing that's missing now is for Demon Balor to resurface. It's probably the only thing that's missing. So kind of can't help but wonder if maybe Demon Balor can get the job done. If Demon Balor can succeed where Rollins, right? Because, I mean, every time you think about it. But then you can make an argument that, nah, don't even think Demon Balor can, because Rollins, he just has that ass. He's got it every time. I can say ass, right? Surely I can say ass. But he's had that number every single time. But you got some mean friction that's going on here that should set up some pretty good, interesting weeks of programming for WWE. Next up, SmackDown Women's title, Charlotte versus Bianca Belair versus Asuka. You knew something was up when they had Bianca Belair come out last instead of the champion. That was your first clue right there that something was maybe going to be going down there. So Bianca ends up winning the title. Okay? By the way, this match that I'm talking about right now, this match ran about, like 10 minutes? No, this about 20 minutes. About 20 minutes it had ran. So Bianca wins the title, and I like the finish to it. I thought that was a pretty good finish for what they had did here. Finish had basically came where Charlotte Flair managed to get in a figure 8. But Belair is back with a 450 to break it up. Goes for the cover on Charlotte. That's a near fall. Asuka's on the floor. Belair looks like she's getting ready to set up the KOD. Gets arm dragged out of it. Charlotte knocks Asuka to the floor. Gets the figure 4 on that bad leg. Or figure 8. Then Asuka is able to make the save with that trademark miss. But then Asuka manages to roll up. Belair manages to roll up Asuka for the pin. Wins the title. About the 20-minute mark and everything. And it was a scary little spot that had went down where you're going, what's going on with Bianca? Because you're going, oh man, it looks like she's suffered some type of an injury here. Is Bianca going to be all right? But you realize rather quickly that the more the cameramen were going back to her and you're seeing her limping, you're going, okay, this is just part of the show. She's definitely going to be coming back into this. Let's not trip. And sure enough, she did come back, limping and all and everything. Gotta say, for costumes, by the way, Seth had a pretty unique costume. I was chuckling big time, though, when my wife had said, I had sleeves like that once, except it was for a dress I wore a couple of years ago. So that got a huge pop out of me. But Bianca had the second best outfit out of the entire night, I would have to say. She had a daggone good outfit for the night. I loved it. Charlotte kind of getting away from the traditional look that we're accustomed to. She's getting more, what's the right words that I want to use for Charlotte Flair? Is it just me, or does it feel like she's really embracing her sexiness now? Because that's what's really been radiating with her attire as of late. Now, before you say, well, she's always, no, I mean, just really stop and really, really think about it, and you'll really understand what I'm talking about. She's really switched it up big time there. So, and no, I don't know what's going on with her and Andrade. I am out of the loop just like you all. So You know, if it's true that she's now single and ready to mingle again, y'all got a good shot. Boys and girls, y'all got a good shot. Pitch her your best move. I'm good. I'm taking. Io, Sky, Bailey, very quick to come out there and everything. Sky challenges officially for the SmackDown Women's title, manages to take advantage of Bianca Belair, pretty much hits that trademark moonsault of hers, becomes champion in 9 seconds. Bailey and Sky are celebrating. Next thing you know, Dakota Kai, who's been out on injury for the past couple of months, she comes in there to join them. It was a nice, cool moment right there. Really awesome, cool moment. Now, this triple threat match itself, this was weird because me and the rest of the gang, we were trying to figure this one out because I was among the first to say something's off with this match. Is it maybe the card placement or what? Something's not quite right here. Feels like something is out of sync. Not sure if it's the chemistry, if it is the chemistry, if it's the card placement. You know, and we all kind of came to an agreement of it's an okay match, but yeah, maybe it is the placement that's going on here. I know what did not help this match was some of the spots that went down were clear as day. You're going, because if I remember it right, I think, was it Asuka? I think Asuka was doing some spot on Charlotte, and clear as day, it was, whoa, that was nowhere near close. And you have the commentators, they're trying to do their best to clean that up and everything, but you know, there was definitely some gaps that were, yeah, buddy, that was a lot. It's a bit of a rough match, though. I would say it really didn't pick up till the second half. Like I said, this match was about 20 something minutes. Second half is where things really started to get, you know, rather decent and everything. But I wasn't a fan of this layout. Crowd wasn't really into this and everything. I don't know. This was weird. Belair regaining the title, that was the most weirdest thing of all, only to have Io. Yeah, that was just really, really weird in itself, because for me, it would have made more sense to just have Io come out and confront Asuka, win that way, and essentially, if you want to somehow build up Io Asuka WrestleMania, because that's been a dream match for a lot of people. Like, as far as on the grandest stage of them all, a lot of people want to see Io and Asuka. So I thought for sure maybe we were going to do something of that magnitude. But I guess whatever floats your boat, WWE. Golly, shoot. Other than that, wow, that is it. So we've already talked about the SmackDown World Title, Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso. Once again, if you guys had missed that, all you gotta do if you're watching this live right now, all you gotta do is just, especially on YouTube, just hit the little rewind button all the way back, and you'll be able to hear my thoughts on that. I don't think I have anything else in addition to say to that main event match, except this is the part of the show that I like, where I'm showing you guys love, reading you all's comments. So if you saw the event and you want to sound off real quick before we go off the air, definitely sound off. Once again, LMB saying in regards to Roman versus Jey Uso, the ending was god-awful. By the way, if you haven't voted yet, go vote on the polls that I have up right now. We're getting ready to look at the results of those. Twitter at the RCWR Show, or youtube.com/the RCWR Show. And click on the communities tab and sound off that way as far as voting goes. I'm going to the communities tab on YouTube right now just to see what you guys, how you guys are voting. Really, nobody has hardly voted on the YouTube poll. I'm only seeing 100% right now for a thumbs up. I'm gonna come back before the broadcast is over. I'll buy you guys a little bit of time too. Now, if you've already voted, thank you for voting. But if you haven't voted yet, definitely go vote like right now. Let's go to Twitter because I know I'll have a better snapshot of where you guys are. Let's see where the mindset is via Twitter. Survey says, yeah, this is a better idea. This is a better idea. Listen to this. In the history that we have done our polls for these WWE premium live events, I've never seen it this one-sided. 4% of you are staying in the middle for WWE SummerSlam. Meanwhile, 32% of you are giving the event a thumbs up. Top dog, 64% of you are giving the event a thumbs down. That is right, 64%. Top dog leading right now, thumbs down. I have a feeling a lot of that has to do with that ending. Just that match itself, the ending. It has nothing to do with Jey losing, just the way that was all laid out. Wouldn't be surprised. There is a hashtag right now, by the way, that's trending on Twitter. WTF Jimmy. That is what's trending right now. First thing I clicked on too when I clicked on the hashtag is Rashid going WTF Jimmy betraying Jey don't make sense, and he's got this video of this brother that's looking at his phone, and he just storms out of his living room. WTF Jimmy, and there is a face of Damian Priest that is just looking like, really, dude? Seriously? Really? Wow, there is a lot of people that is pissed off at Jimmy Uso right now. A lot of people that's pissed off at Jimmy. This is hilarious. Yeah, so there is a lot of people trying to make sense out of this. I love it. I freaking love it. All right, let's see what you guys are saying here. Cubis. Nobody wants to see Cody defeat Roman at this point. Well, says you, Cubis, because let's be honest, with full transparency here. I mean, unless we're looking at different Cody Rhodes on our TVs, unless we've got different TVs, there's no denying it that Cody, especially after you've watched the Becoming Cody Rhodes documentary, and I can't stress it enough, if you all have not watched the Cody Rhodes documentary, you owe it to yourselves to go out of your way and watch that documentary, because the number one thing that you come away with by the time you get done watching that doc, you go, yeah, you know what, without a shadow of doubt, he's going to win that title off of Roman. He's definitely going to do it. It's just a question of, is it going to be this calendar year, or if he's going to get it at next year's WrestleMania. So, but when you watch that doc, you're going, he's definitely winning it. But let's continue on here with what Cubis was saying. I mean, not to mention the ovations, the Rockstar ovations that Cody gets every single... The ovations were loud as tonight with SummerSlam. My wife was, she initially, she wasn't going to watch SummerSlam with me, but she got herself into the groove of things and everything. Because, you know, it's a yearly tradition and everything. So, you know, she got herself into the groove, and I think it helped that I had made dinner and all that. So that kind of got her, you know, because she was feeling a little sluggish anyway. So when she saw Cody's entrance, you know, she was like, wow. I was like, yeah, that's something, right? She's like, yeah. It's like better than, you know, his last run in WWE. Like, yeah. It's like, you swear this guy's a rock star. Like, he's a champion or something. I was like, yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, it's cool. Like, yeah. Jimmy face turn was pointless. And for what? So we can get brother versus brother match. This is typical WWE fashion. You know, what I would be more curious to learn is, in regards to these matches at SummerSlam, who were the producers for these matches? I would be more curious into learning who were the decision makers, and this person's going to go over, this is the direction that we're going to be going. This person will win. This person's going to lose. I'm more curious about all of that. As far as typical WWE fashion, a lot of the stuff that they've been doing as of late has been on point. I think, honestly, if we just really take a step back, because even if you look at NXT, I've poked my head in NXT here and there. There's been some good things that they've done right with NXT. This is one of those rare occasions where, again, as I mentioned several minutes ago, if you're a fan of the Bloodline, if you're a fan of Roman Reigns, this is the first time where you're really going, man, they dropped the ball here. They had such a hot, steady hand. You knew eventually there was going to be some nights where it just wasn't, but hey, it happens to the best. But it was still going to be a decent, right? It was still going to be a victory. It was still going to be okay, but decent at best. But you didn't know it was going to be this level bad. How WWE is going to spin this, that's what's really that's the catalyst right now. That's the carrot that's being dangled over our heads right now. And we're just going to have to watch SmackDown in the next couple of weeks, see how everything pans out. Because now this doesn't make sense. So obviously we're going to watch the next episode of SmackDown so that this gets explained to us. And then it's going to be, okay, can we ride with this, or nah, WWE, y'all had messed up right here. Like, seriously. Lamar, The Rock need to come and set the family straight. Could be. Dell, could Jimmy be looking at it, could Jimmy be looking at if Jey became tribal chief? Where would that leave him? They would be twins, but no longer equals in hierarchy within the family. I honestly believe that Dale is on to something there. I honestly do. That is a very good point, because it would explain a lot, but it feels like there's something else underlining here. Maybe it's jealousy. Maybe the jealousy has finally got the best of Jimmy. I like where you're going with that, Diddy. I like where you're going with that, but I feel like that's a underline. I feel like there's a lot more that's going on there, and they're gonna have to really exploit that. Now, if you were to come at me and part of it is, since last we saw of Jimmy, Jey has just been obsessed with becoming the new WWE Universal World Heavyweight Champion, becoming the new tribal chief, that it's consumed him tremendously to the point he's been neglecting his family. He's been neglecting his kids. Hell, he even neglected his own twin brother, and Jimmy really took that to heart or whatever, and maybe somehow combine that with what Diddy's talking about there. And I still feel there's something else that's going on there. Resentment, I don't know what you want to call it, but if they spin it right and it's believable, because even for those of us that don't have a sibling, we can still relate, because somebody we know who has a brother or a sister, we hear the stories all the time. So if WWE spin this in such a really good way, this could be interesting. But just when we think we've seen it all from WWE, they've come along and they do something once in a while that makes us go WTF, and we're trying to make sense out of it. We're going, that's crazy, what the hell? And then when we finally see, oh, okay, all right, well, okay, not bad, not too shabby, okay, all right, cool. So, but I know the emotions are, I can see it right now. Seriously, I can see it right now. Let's see here. Cedric. Oof, I'm trying to read this, but damn. Why the writers sure know how to ruin a storyline like a dud. I have a feeling he's commenting in regards to the bloodline stuff. WWE not doing a good job. Watch the... Oof. Dude, spell check, man. I'm trying to clean this up for you, but in real time, you're scrambling all over the place here. Good job, watch. Really, I guess he's trying to say WWE's not doing a good job. Watch them ruin LA Knight soon. I don't even know how to respond to that. Seriously. Not for nothing, but LA Knight doing pretty good down there at NXT for a hot cup of coffee. They gave him the most daunting challenges when they put him up on the SmackDown roster, and he somehow has been able to blossom and flourish through that. I mean, if anybody is a fan of LA Knight, Eli Drake, whether it be from his days in WWE, his days at Impact Wrestling, his days at NWA, you should be over the moon and back right now over what you see that's happening for this man right now, and that he's finally starting to get that recognition that he so rightfully deserves. I mean, he honestly should have gotten this years and years ago. You know, probably the greatest travesty is the fact that he's just now finally hitting pay dirt, you know, and he's in his 40s now. So early 40s at that. So, you know, saying watch them ruin, you know, that's a poor choice of words as far as I'm concerned. You know, and that's not me shitting on you, Cedric. You know, I've got the mindset, and I think anybody that's truly a wrestling fan and their heart is really in a good place, there's particular wrestlers that you like. You know, you're going, man, I'm happy I'm able to see this person on my TV every single week. Love the fact that they're getting these opportunities that they're getting. Man, I hope management doesn't screw them up. Hope they don't mess with them. Now, you know, if you mean it from that standpoint, then it's like, okay, yeah, you know, we get that. But to go, oh, watch, they're gonna ruin. It's like, wow, you're already calling for sabotage or defeat, and that's a bit premature, because there's been a lot of things that WWE has done right in recent years. Do I really need to go over some of those examples? We just talked about some of them here on the show tonight, but if you were to really sit down and look at what all has transpired in the last 7 years, you know, they've done a lot of good things right, especially in 2023. So, poor choice of words there. Poor choice of words there. All right, so let's take a look at the polling results one more time. Let's see what's going on here. Going back to Twitter at the RCWR show. So I'm still seeing numbers 4% staying in the middle, 32% thumbs up, and 64% for the pay-per-view getting a thumbs down. Let's refresh on YouTube, youtube.com/the RCWR show. Click on the communities tab. Let's see if this changed. All right, we got a couple of more votes, but still early on YouTube for those that are voting. So you've heard the results now. So if you have both YouTube linked up and you've got the Twitter, just pick the one where you feel the majority. That's where you're on, okay? You don't have to vote on both of them. I encourage you not to vote on both polls. Just vote on the one where you feel the majority's over here and my voice is with them. It's aligned with them. I'm seeing for YouTube 33% staying in the middle, while 67% of you are giving the event a thumbs up. One other thing I want to check out before we get ready to roll out. I love seeing what some of the people have to say on let's go to cage match real quick. I'm very curious what people are saying about SummerSlam on Cage Match. So let's see if I can find that real quick. And then we will call it a night. Let's see here. Here it is. SummerSlam 2023 on Cage Match, Internet Wrestling Database. Current rating is a 8.11. So let's look at what some of the people have to say here. Waka had this to say. He gave the show a 7. Good show. The decision not to bloat the card too much paid off, though I'm sure something better than a battle royale to win a stick of salty processed meat could have been included. It was a nicely varied card overall. From the aerial antics of the opener, Cody with some classic FIP stuff, and MMA rules, which was flawed, I enjoyed quite a bit. Nice heavyweight slappy for the IC, and melodrama in the main event. I have mixed feelings on the main. The Battle Royale was an inoffensive but utterly meaningless Battle Royale, and I didn't like Rollins versus Balor, though I didn't hate it like I did their Money in the Bank match. Everything else was pretty cool, though. Overall, satisfying Big Four show. So that's a 7. That was a 7. Let's go with, I'm not going to read that because that is essentially a essay. Wow, I'm seeing a lot of 9s. I'm seeing a lot of 10s. I'm seeing an 8. Okay, The Honest Guy, 69. He gave it a 6 out of 10. Decent show. The crowd throughout the night was mostly dead. Yeah, definitely. There was not a lot of creativity in the ring. Felt like most went through the motions and were happy to just coast and do the expected. Gunther and Drew had, in my opinion, the second best WWE match of the year. I don't know about all that. Overall, I give the show a 6. Logan Paul versus Ricochet. What is this he's saying? I don't know how he's breaking that down. Wait a minute. He's saying 3. I guess he's saying 3 out of 5 or whatever. I'm not gonna read those. All right. Joseph gave it a 5. Is this score too low? Given I gave Money in the Bank the same score? Maybe. But both pay-per-views had problems that hurt them a lot. This was a bizarre experience. One, when I enjoyed most of the matches, even with the overbooking / multiple interference spots, things that remind you of Russo booking, yeah, when you don't want to remember that. One great match, IC title, and a bunch of good matches, World Heavyweight Championship title, opener, even Brock, Cody, and the Battle Royale had its moments. But both women's matches stunk, and the main event, honest to God, was one of the worst wrestling matches I have watched of this magnitude. Crowd was super tired by the halfway mark. Didn't help. Very true. I've got nothing. Very true. These are the comments from the people that saw this live event. Far5222 gave it a 4 out of 10. All these pay-per-views post Backlash have been middle of the road. The wrestling has not been strong. Usually there would be at least 2 to 3 good matches since Triple H took over, but the trend is done and dead. Gunther seems to have peaked at WrestleMania for ring work. The best thing about this show was Io Sky's cash in. That's when you really woke up, honestly, I would say. Yeah, everything was just, I gotta say, I was going, damn, I'm 1-0. Wow, I'm 2-0. Hey, I'm 3-0. Hey, I'm 4-0. Oh, wow, I'm 5-0. Like, can I get some surprises here? So it was nice seeing when Io had won and everything. Far goes on to say, Best thing about this show was Io Sky's cash in and winning the women's championship. LA Knight winning was nice, giving the crowd a bone while they probably do nothing with him in the grand scheme of things. We shall wait and see on that. Finn Balor looked like a complete fool in that match, and that finish was awful. Yeah, especially from the standpoint of, you would have thought that Judgment Day at the end would have surrounded Seth, beat his behind silly. Damian just goes on ahead and, maybe he tries to cash in or something, or it was just weird how everything just, we're just stuck mean mugging one another. Just interesting right there. Ronda versus Shayna was the worst match on this card. Charlotte versus Asuka versus Bianca Belair was awful and slow and sloppy. Asuka did her best to hold the match together. Bianca selling a leg injury and hitting a 450 on a bummed leg. That was very poor psychology, I must admit. That was very poor psychology. Logan versus Ricochet was alright. Cody versus Brock was whatever. Brock shaking hands with Cody was weird as all hell. And the fact he has never done that for anyone in this 11-year run is insane. There was really nothing outstanding on this show at all personally. I had to clean that last little bit up for him. I see some 8 out of 10s. I see a lot of people scoring 10s. There's a decent amount of people scoring 10s. I'm seeing a 7. I'm seeing an 8. Let's see. Let's read one more. Jordan, 7 out of 10. The highs were highs and the lows were lows this SummerSlam. Very hit or miss, with either matches being great or terrible. Definitely had skippable matches in here, and the show went on a very long time. 4 hours and 15 minutes of the main show. Highlight of the night being Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor, and the worst match was Shayna versus Ronda in the MMA rules match. Bloodline story continues in the main event with Roman leaving victorious. Definitely not the worst pay-per-view, but expected better from the biggest event of the summer. Yeah, so that leads us to this last portion of the show, which is my most favorite match and least favorite match. My most favorite match, I'm looking at this now. And I believe I would actually give that honor. I'm going to give that honor to, just playing this back in my head, all the matches that I saw tonight. I'm going to give that honor to Gunther and Drew McIntyre. As far as most favorite match, I'm going to give it to both of those guys. I'm definitely going to give it to both of those guys. Coming in a distant second place. Cody and Brock. I loved it. I loved everything about that. Yeah, were there some uncharacteristic things by Brock Lesnar that was done, like post-match? Yeah, sure. Did they miss the mark on a couple of areas that we had talked about at great length earlier in the show? Yeah, but still, yeah, I would have that get an honorable mention. But my most favorite, Gunther, Drew McIntyre. My least favorite match, that's a damn tie. I wish I could choose one. It's a tie. My least favorite, Shayna Baszler, Ronda Rousey. But then I'm looking at Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. I mean, if you're going to force me to pick one, God dang. If you're going to force me to pick one, Roman versus Jey. That's a first for me. Because I remember even asking folks, when's the last time you saw a really bad Roman Reigns match? And a lot of people were saying 5 years ago. No, 6 years ago. No, for sure 7 years ago. So somewhere in that time frame, like before tonight. So yeah, I gotta go with Roman versus Jey. Thinking about the rest of these. Did we finish scoring the rest of the matches? Yeah. That triple threat match for the women's championship, I'm giving that a C. Maybe a C minus. Balor Rollins, yeah, I think we graded Balor Rollins. What we give them? A B minus, I think. B minus. So, overall grade for SummerSlam, I'm gonna give it a. There it is. Overall grade for SummerSlam. I think those that were giving the pay-per-view overall 8, I think that's being much too gracious. I think that's being much, much too gracious. I would say 6.25. 6.25. I'm not going anywhere near 7. 6.25, maybe 6.5 max. And that's being extra generous, but I'm going 6.25 for this SummerSlam. You would most likely have 6.5 if that Roman Reigns joint was trimmed quite a bit. You would definitely have 6.5. You would definitely have a 7 if that triple threat match for the women's championship was tightened up, laid out a little better, executed a little better. I mean, yeah, to the point, whoever it was that said that earlier, Bianca doing a 450 splash on a bum leg. What the hell, right? Like, there was just no excuse for that. That was just poor logic, just thrown out the window, man. Yeah, so you definitely would have some points right there that would take up to 7. The Shayna Baszler, Ronda Rousey MMA rules match, you clean that up a lot better. Maybe throw the whole MMA rules thing out the window. Maybe let that be a loser leaves WWE. Let this be a Detroit street fight. Let them brawl on the streets and everything, right? You could have easily got a couple of more points right there. Cody, Brock, I highlighted some of the reasons why that could have been better. So up to this point, you definitely could have had an 8. Logan Paul, Ricochet, get more heated, get Samantha Irvine involved in there, Ricochet's girl. Yeah, you could have gotten a lot higher than 6.25, 6.5. So yeah, that's where I'm standing with that one for sure. Poke my head one more time in the comments, see what you guys are doing here. Nope, we are good. All right, so quick programming notes. I'm back with you guys Monday night, August 7th, 2023. As soon as WWE Raw goes off the air, we'll get into the very latest in headlines and more. So make sure you represent. We'll be streaming that live on multiple platforms for you guys. And if it's your first time here, welcome. If you haven't done so already, do subscribe so you don't miss out on future content that comes your way here on a weekly basis, including show excerpts. For those of you that want to hear my thoughts on the Cody Rhodes Peacock documentary, it's on the cock. You can definitely check out the review clip when it becomes available. It'll be premiering on the YouTube channel later today, this Sunday. I think I have it scheduled to go live sometime after 12 or 1 p.m. Eastern. As long as you're signed up for notifications on the YouTube channel and everything, soon as it goes live, you'll know about it from your respective device. Go check it out, sound off, let me know your thoughts on the event. Be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads. We are up on Apple Music, Spotify, Alexa, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio. Just use the keywords, the RCWR Show. Leave those ratings and reviews. Get at me on Twitter and Facebook at the RCWR Show. And until next go round, my pretty babies, I am wishing all of you all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you guys next go round. Adios, y'all. Take care.